Let's talk about NBA betting picks for Tuesday. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a great day so far. We went 2-0 with the picks yesterday. Only 2 games, not a lot to pick from, but we did end up getting both of them right. We cut it very close with that Phoenix Suns pick, -5.5 against the Cavaliers. The Suns were down by 17 in the late second, early third quarter, and I was confident in them still that they were going to win. One of my buddies actually placed a live money line bet, which was incredibly sharp, but I wasn't so sure the Suns were still going to cover. From that point on, they needed to win the game by 23 points. That's a tall task. They end up doing just that. They were up 4 with like 10 seconds left. The Cavs missed the shot, and thank God they fouled, so that Devin Booker goes to the line, makes both free throws, and we end up walking out with a very narrow cover. The Mavericks pick, Mavs -4.5 against the Bulls, never in doubt. They won by like 30-something points. I don't know what the final score was. I turned it off after it was evident that it was a blowout, but that was a very good pick from us, and like I said, 2-0, back to winning ways. You can see that everything's looking pretty good as far as the record goes, and hopefully we can continue that with these picks that I've got for you guys Tuesday. But before I give them to you, you guys know what to do. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button, join the community we are building here, and without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Let's go talk about the betting picks. So I got 3 games that I want to talk about for you guys today. I got 3 picks, and the first one that I'm going to touch on is the Milwaukee Bucks -2.5 against the Sacramento Kings. So Sacramento's at home in this one, but honestly, not honestly, just matter of fact, look at the numbers. The Kings are worse at home than they are on the road, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I would be interested to see if there's any other team in the league like that, but their net rating and everything is better on the road than it is at home. Since the All-Star break, Sacramento has been really good on offense. They're 5th in offensive efficiency, but they're 26th in defensive efficiency. You compare that to Milwaukee, which is 7th in offense, 7th in defense since the All-Star break, top 5 in net rating, and they have a net rating of +8, which is more than twice as good as the 6th place team in net rating, which is actually the Orlando Magic. But the Bucks are starting to pour it on. They're starting to look like a true championship contender. The Doc Rivers impact has been felt specifically on the defensive end, and on the offensive side, they're just getting to the things that work the best for them. You know, pretty much all year, the Dame Lillard Giannis pick and roll partnership has been really high as far as points per possession, but they haven't necessarily gone to it. They haven't necessarily spammed it, and I say spam in a great way. Like you've got Giannis is a top 2 player in the world. Dame's probably still top 12, top 15, somewhere in there. So why not spam it? Like I say that as a good thing. The defense can't switch because then they've got crazy mismatches. Giannis and Dame have such opposite skill sets that if you're going to switch someone on to the other, then it just doesn't make sense schematically. You can't really help off these guys because since the All-Star break, Milwaukee's making the 2nd most threes at the 7th highest percentage in the league. So if you're going to help out of the corner, then you're leaving a Jay Crowder, you're leaving a Pat Connaughton, a Brook Lopez open, a Malik Beasley, who's one of the best shooters in the league right now. So you just can't do that. There's just not a whole lot of ways to defend these guys. Milwaukee's won 7 of its last 10 games, and although they aren't great against the spread over the season as a whole, they have covered in 7 of their last 9. I think that this is a game where if you're Sacramento, you need Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk to really try to keep pace with the Bucks stars. But even if they do that, I think Milwaukee's supporting cast is playing pretty well. And so I'm going to take the Bucks at -2.5 for the first pick of the day there. My next pick is going to be the San Antonio Spurs at +4.5 at home against the Houston Rockets. I like this pick for a few reasons. The big one is there's going to be no Alperen Şengün for the Rockets. Şengün, you know, I know people like Fred VanVleet, people like Jalen Green. They spent a high draft pick on Jabari Smith Jr. Şengün is the best player on that team, and in my opinion, it's not particularly close. Now, as I say that, Şengün still has a whole lot of potential that he can grow into, but I do think he is the best player on this team, and he's not going to be there. The Rockets have only played 1 game without him this season. They lost by 9 to the Atlanta Hawks. Şengün sprained his ankle and suffered a bone bruise in his, was it his knee or just his lower leg? I forget where, but the point being he's gone. He's out injured. Maybe he won't play again for the rest of the season. Prayers up to Şengün. But without him there, without your best player, and also someone who does a lot for the style in which you play, you're going to replace him with Jock Landale, and I don't see Jock Landale necessarily becoming a facilitator at the top of the key or getting into the post and going for these post hooks or dishing it out to his open teammates in the corner. I just don't see that happening. And so for that reason, I certainly like the Spurs. Another reason is I think that Wemby wants his get back. Granted, Şengün isn't going to be there, but Şengün dropped, I think, 45 and 16 on Wemby the last time you saw him. With or without him there, I think Wemby wants his revenge against the Rockets. And then the Rockets also have one of the largest drop-offs from home to away splits. They've got a positive net rating at home. I think it's like +5 at home, -5 on the road. So they're basically 10 points per 100 possessions worse when they are on the road. Now, I know San Antonio's not a far way away, but still, I think you could see some of those effects come into life. And then the Spurs have actually been playing decent basketball. Ever since the All-Star break, I believe it's 9 games for both these teams. The Spurs are 18th in net rating. The Rockets are 20th. So although the Rockets do have a better record, the Spurs technically have been playing better basketball. You've seen them get some good wins. They beat the Warriors by double digits a couple of days ago. I think they can go to their home building, and I think they can get a job done. I wouldn't be surprised if they do win this game. And I actually want to check to see what the money line odds are for the Spurs here. So, okay, so the best money line odds for the Spurs are +158. There's no way I'm betting that. But for the +4.5, I think that's certainly worth the investment. So Spurs +4.5. That's where we're gonna go with the second pick there. And then our third pick, and this one's also going to be a bit of an interesting one. I like the Minnesota Timberwolves at +7.5 against the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I will say, just, again, I like the Timberwolves. If you like the Clippers, I'm just giving you some general advice here. If you like the Clippers, go look at FanDuel at the time I'm recording this. They've got the Clippers for -6.5 at -112 odds. That's the best I can find. But if you are like me and you like the Timberwolves, over at Fanatics, you can get them for +7.5 at -110. So it always goes back to the importance of line shopping. Always look around, see where you can find the best price. But yeah, I like the Timberwolves to cover in this one. No Karl Anthony Towns here. That's going to be a big loss. Suffered a torn meniscus. Hoping to be back by the playoffs. Don't necessarily know that he is going to be. But even without Cat, I mean, this is still the Timberwolves. They still have an elite defense. And honestly, if you want to talk about it, I know that Minnesota has made the double big lineup work on defense. It's not like you're taking that big of a hit if you drop a Naz Reid in there, or if you want to go smaller and put in a Nickeil Alexander-Walker. The team composition doesn't change. Like, going back to what I was talking about the Rockets, when they lose to Şengün, and I guess that's not apples to apples because Şengün's the Rockets' best player. The Timberwolves' best player is Anthony Edwards. But my point being, you're losing a star on your team, but the style of play that you have doesn't necessarily change, especially, again, with Naz Reid. Naz Reid is basically the same style of player as Cat. Now, he might not be as good, but Naz Reid is still an excellent player. He scored like 20 points in the first quarter the other day. So he can certainly give you some minutes here. And then if you want to look at what the Clippers have been doing, they have not been great since the All-Star break. They're 16th in net rating. I believe they've allowed more points than they have scored. Looking at some of their recent results, they lost to the Bucks. They beat the Bulls, not that impressed. They beat the Rockets, who really cares? Lose to the Bucks. They beat the Timberwolves by 1 point. They beat the Wizards, who cares? Lose to the Lakers, lose to the Kings. Beat the Grizzlies, who cares? Lose to the Thunder. Like, it's just... It's very average. Nothing's really standing out here. Obviously, I think the Timberwolves are a better team with Cat than they are without him, but still, I know that they haven't necessarily been winning games, but you've seen Anthony Edwards put together these big games. Rudy Gobert also is going to be fresh. He has not played since Friday, did not play against the Lakers. So with him coming back to the lineup and a big Ivica Zubac, who's not necessarily known for being dominant on the glass or even as an interior defender, I think you could see Gobert go for something like 20 and 14 tonight. And if Anthony Edwards is able to shoot the ball efficiently, then there's no reason in my mind why the Timberwolves can't cover this line. Again, the Clippers not playing the best basketball, and Minnesota has the defensive lineup to go in there and get a job done. So I think you've seen this Timberwolves team be one of the most consistent teams in the West. Granted, they did fall to third, but they've got to keep pace. They got to maintain their lead over the Clippers. They're either 1 or 2 games ahead of them. They're going to know the importance of that. I think they give a really good effort. I like the Timberwolves +7.5. And guys, that's going to do it for my 3 picks. Just to cap it off, do the little review. First pick, Bucks -2.5 on the road against the Kings. Then we got the Spurs at +4.5 at home against the Rockets. And the Timberwolves at +7.5 on the road against the Clippers. Guys, that's going to do it for me today. Before you get out of here, subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Like the video if you did enjoy. Comment, let me know who you're betting on today. And I will catch you all in the next one. Have a great day.